I'm back with another How Did It Turn Out? Today we're going to be talking about child number 2 and how did homeschool turn out for him. Stick around to the end. We're going to play another round of Bekki trivia, homeschool trivia, and I have some swag to give away. And so you have to watch the whole video, like, comment, subscribe. And the comment is the answer to the trivia question. But watch the whole video all the way through, and I hope you will. First, let me show you what I'm in the middle of. So recently when he got married, we stayed at a vacation home because we needed space to host the rehearsal dinner and stuff. And one of the rooms was a bunk room where it just had 2 sets of bunk beds, and then it had guest rooms, right? So in our home, I thought, okay, I want to do that. So the very first thing I did, well, okay, loosely said, the very first thing I had one of my sons do is move both sets of bunk beds into one room. And now we're working on decluttering and cleaning and purging the other 2 spaces in the house so that we can create a space for married couple number 1, my oldest son and his wife. And then now today we're talking about son number 2. This room is not ready, but it's gotten purged down. Yes, we need homes for all the bionicles. The boys are not quite ready to put them into bins, but I wanted to show you something. So let me get set up a little bit. I was going through papers and I stumbled on this old envelope from when child number 2, his name is Micah, when Micah was a munchkin. So I think it was when he graduated from preschool. And inside this stack of papers, he's like, I love mom with a red heart. I love that. But I wanted to talk about this. Oops, got cut off there for a second. I wanted to talk about this guy. When he was born with a benign tumor, and he's perfectly fine. But what that meant for him in childhood is that he had a lot of doctor's appointments and medical procedures and surgeries and that kind of thing. And he was one of our most challenging homeschool kids, not because of the medical stuff, but his brain does not work the same way as my brain. This guy and I butt heads so many times as he was growing up because I'm a very visual person and he is an auditory processor. So we butted heads on all kinds of stuff. He was not our fastest learner. He also wasn't our slowest learner. He did not read. All 5 of our kids were delayed readers. They all read prolifically now, but they were all delayed. He didn't read until he was like 7 or 8. He didn't even potty train until he was over 4 years old, because every time I potty trained him, he needed to have a surgery and then he would regress. So I just stopped until he was completely on the other side of surgeries, the major surgeries, so that it wasn't a big deal. He eventually got potty trained, and his wife is very thankful about that. The kinds of things that worked with this guy were lots of love, lots of snuggles, lots of story time, lots of just art. He was always covered in magic marker. I called him my Michelangelo because he absolutely loved art. And he turned out to be quite an artist. I wonder if I have some of this stuff right in the other room. He turned out to be quite an artist with this amazing ability to capture emotion or capture some things on art. Let's see. Now, this is my other artist. We're not talking about him today. But Micah would do things like, let's see if I can pull one out. Yeah, he would do things like this. And so he was a talented artist, and that's just one. It's not my favorite one, but it's one of his pieces. We did a lot of reading, and he absorbed story. What worked with him was talking about and daydreaming about what could happen in a story. He was very big into the characters and the worlds and the descriptions. And as he grew, it turned out that what he is a storyteller. He's a writer. He eventually graduated college with a degree in digital filmmaking right in the middle of COVID. It's the same time that he wrote his first screenplay and he produced his first animated short film. It's like 25 minutes long. It still has not been released, but beautiful, beautiful story. And what I can tell you is that I worried a lot about this child, a lot. Yes, he had medical issues, and I never quite knew what that was going to mean for him as he got older. Like, were the surgeries going to get in the way? Were they going to cause him to stumble? Were they going to cause him to have bigger challenges than other people? But you know what? God knew exactly what he was doing. The things that he went through when he was little helped him develop such compassion and such grit that you would be stunned at the level of confidence and empathy and encouragement that comes from this child. Well, he's now a married man, but it's amazing what happened. What kinds of things did we do in homeschool with him? He was when he was in kindergarten, his older brother was yes, he loved dress up. He loved make believe. When he would watch stories, he would reenact them. He's quite the actor. He's worn glasses since he was a little baby. That's the first day he got glasses. When he first started school, so when he was in kindergarten, our oldest was in 5th grade. That's the year that we tried, what's it called? K-12, which is basically public school in a box. Micah did okay with that program. Thomas hated it. It was too much like public school. But he was the one that taught me that I needed to change my perspective. It was right in those first few years of homeschooling this guy, Mr. Micah, that I recognized that completing the worksheets, completing the curriculum wasn't the point. He's the one that taught me that to look for the core, to look for the themes, to look for the meaning, to look for the moral of the story. And I'm so thankful for him. As he got into probably middle school, that's when we really dug into thematic type learning projects where we would do things like pocket projects. I was just looking for more pictures. Pocket projects and lap books and PowerPoint presentations and things. And he thrived with a theme or a golden thread, I always called it. And then we would lay that on top of or within some kind of hands-on project that he would take weeks or months to complete. He's very creative, very big thinking, and loves to weave things together. So with Micah, I grew a lot as a teacher because my teaching style and his teaching style don't mesh together well. So I had to really change the way that I would do things with him. He also taught me so much about patience. He's the child that I would say, "Hey buddy, can you get your shoes?" And he would go, "Huh? Where? I don't see my shoes." I'm like, "Dude, they're right behind you." And he would go in the wrong direction. It's crazy. He's also the child that he would spell out words like this. He would take something and he would go, dog. Oh. He's also the child that when we did have them do standardized testing, he would just create patterns because they just didn't mean anything to him. And it was a season when he was having headaches, where he was going to need another surgery. And it was just nuts. By the time he was in high school, the style homeschooling that he was doing was through a charter school. Now, all that meant was that we were using their umbrella so that we had a stipend that they would give us money where we could buy and use Oh, and at the end, there's a trivia question. Make sure you watch all the way to the end and answer the trivia question, because I'm going to pick a winner to get some swag, because as I'm decluttering, I'm finding some goodies. So anyway, we were at a charter school, and I was writing the curriculum with the charter school hosted classrooms, and I co-paired with the history professor, and we laid out things like the golden threads of what kids should learn in 8th grade. I just love that kind of stuff. When we moved from the area that the charter school was in, he was in 11th grade. So when we moved, it was this weird shift where we didn't want to put him in public school. There was no charter school in the area that we were in. He was at that time taking high school level classes a couple days a week and then completing the work at home the other days a week. And they just didn't have that up here. So he did long distance school his junior year. And then he's the first one that we merged into the community college, where he finished high school at the college. He did his senior year at the college, and then he spent the next year completing his associate's degree. So that whole dual enrollment thing where you take high school classes and college classes at the same time and you get credit for both. He's the first one that we had do that. And it was fantastic because he showed us that it helps skip a lot of the drama that can go on in a high school setting if your kids are in school. I've said before, and I'll say it again, homeschooling is not for everyone, and there's no such thing as the right way or the wrong way to homeschool your kids. Micah, because of being on the go and going to doctor's offices a lot, or being in that place where he wasn't feeling well enough to do traditional curriculum, or he was recovering from things, we got very creative in how we approached homeschooling. And we really embraced what I call secret sauce right about the time that he was entering into the stream with the kids. So where is he now? He's 24, newly married. So he's getting ready to celebrate his 1-month wedding anniversary soon. Got married to a beautiful, loving, wonderfully warm and caring woman. And we're super excited to have her as part of our family. And he is in the process of figuring out exactly what he wants to do. The area that he's in is not the best area for things like screenwriting and screenplays and producing and such. So he's employed and doing well, but he's not in his sweet spot yet, but he's doing well and he's happy. So anyway, we're going to continue with this series as I get a little bit deeper. So we've already gone through our oldest, and I will link to that video below if you haven't seen that. And then this was our second, Micah. There is a 5-year gap between those two boys. And then there's a 3-year gap between Micah and the next son. And so we'll talk about that. Trivia time. How much? Okay, here's the rule. You have to have watched the video all the way through without skipping ahead. And yes, there's a way to know that you did that. And then you need to like the video and leave a comment below. The comment is the answer to the trivia question. Are you ready? In the United States, the public schools get thousands of dollars per child to educate those kids. I'd like a piece of that pie. I'm sure you would too. But that's not what homeschoolers don't stereotypically spend thousands and thousands of dollars a year per child homeschooling. So here's the trivia question. In the United States, what is the average that most families spend per child homeschooling each and every year? Okay, drop your answer below and I'll be pulling from the people that comment and like and subscribe and all that stuff. And then I will be contacting you so I can send you some swag. I can also tell you that I'm guessing some of you are going to cheat, and that's okay. That's what technology was invented to do. But the number that you come up with, I'm guessing that may be a lot, for me, we never spent anything close to what the average person spends homeschooling. So when you answer that, know that does not, if you're new to homeschooling, you did not need to spend that kind of money. We never did. I actually had a personal goal to always try to homeschool as close to free as possible. We did a lot of curriculum sharing, a lot of library learning, a lot of internet learning once the internet was a thing. Yes, I'm that old. So is my oldest son. And I wrote and created a whole bunch of curriculum. And so we never really, only once or twice did we purchase curriculum. Most of the time we were sharing curriculum with other homeschoolers, especially older, wiser homeschoolers that could say, this is really great, but don't use this because this part's yucky. So anyway, answer the trivia question. Thank you for watching. If you're new, my name is Bekki. I am the mother of 5 sons and the author and wife of an amazing man and the face behind A Better Way to Homeschool. And I'm thankful that you're here. And I can't wait to see what your guesses are about how much the average family spends in homeschooling. And I'll see you next time when we talk about child number 3.